Hey folks, thanks for stopping in. My name is Brandon, and I'm about to present to you the new 2022 GV70. Today we're going to be looking at the 3.5 Turbo Prestige. Cool thing about the GV70 is that it only comes in all-wheel drive, so you don't have to worry about an SUV with rear-wheel drive. Also, what's going to be on this vehicle is going to be everything Genesis can throw at a vehicle. So it's going to be a fully digital gauge cluster with blind view monitoring. That's also going to be the cool thing I just showed you, which is Smart Park, something that Genesis Hyundai came out with in 2020, trickled up to the GV70. From there, you'll also have an industry first fingerprint sensor in the cabin, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later. From there, if this is your first time really looking at a Genesis, the vehicle comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. I'll get to that in a second. It'll also come with a 5-year, 60,000-mile new car warranty that covers everything else on the vehicle, outside of course, wearable items. Now, what Genesis also does give you is Genesis Cares. Now, what that means is you'll get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance plan. So oil changes, filter changes, that's going to be covered. But what Genesis does to take it to a step further is going to be your own service valet. So what that means is that while you have your car in service, you won't have to come up to the dealership to drop it off. What Genesis will do is have a service valet come to you, place of home, place of work, place of worship. They'll drop off a light Genesis model to you, and then they'll simply take your car back so we can do whatever we need to do to it, and then just drop your vehicle back off so you never really have to spend more time in the dealership than what you need. Now, what you'll also have with this vehicle is an amazing 4 trim level options. You'll also have amazing interiors for both the 2.5 and the 3.5. Currently today, we're going to be looking at the 3.5 Turbo Prestige, the best equipped vehicle that Genesis has to offer for the GV70. Now, up front, the first thing you're going to notice is going to be this wide grille. Now, there's a reason for that. If you take a look at the symbol here, you'll notice the Genesis crest does match the same Genesis symbol up front. You'll also notice these wide-angle LED headlights are going to match the Genesis wings, giving you an air and understanding of what you're actually buying. The G-Matrix grille is meant to be the crown jewel of Genesis lineup, and you'll notice that on any Genesis model you do look at. Now, up front, underneath this hood, you will find a 3.5 twin turbocharged V6. What that'll do is produce 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. What that'll also do is make this car just above 5 seconds 0 to 60 time. So you'll have a quick SUV, but it won't really feel like an SUV when you're driving down the road. What you'll also have underneath this vehicle is the normal things like stabilizer bars to make sure that that 375 horsepower doesn't completely blow away this vehicle. What you'll also have is the start of Genesis Intelligent Services. The first thing is going to be this camera that you'll see up here. That's going to be for collision avoidance assist as well as lane keep assist. Now, the cool thing with that camera is that it'll also be for highway drive assist with auto curve correction. Now, it's a whole lot of words, and it really just stands for the car will help you drive on the highway so that you don't have to really worry about it. Now, that's not to say don't take your hands off the wheel. That's just simply saying the car is going to help you drive as best you can. It'll also have forward collision avoidance assist with pedestrian detection, junction turning, and pedestrian assist. All that really means is the cyclists that jump out at you, the pedestrians that run across the street, you won't be hitting those. All right? Now, as far as the rear, if you want to follow me back here, what you're going to find is the same amount of space in the rear. A very functional trunk. It'll produce just under 30 cubic feet of space. So all that really means is that for whatever you do want to actually throw in the back of this trunk, you'll have plenty of space to do so. Now, just like any Highline vehicle, it'll have a power trunk. But unlike those other brands to where you might have to do some random hokey pokey dance to actually get into the trunk, you'll have what's called smart tailgate. So what that means is as long as you have the key fob on you, and of course the setting is set in the interior, you'll be able to simply walk up to the vehicle, the trunk will pop open for you so that you can slide whatever you do need to inside the vehicle. Now, when it comes to Genesis, remember, you will have 5 years roadside assistance. So if you did need to swap out the tire, if you did need the car to get jumped or anything else like that, the vehicle will essentially do it for you by way of Genesis Cares. So you won't ever have to actually be back here. You can get on with the rest of your day. Now, the seats themselves, they fold down in a 60-40 split. It's relatively simple and relatively easy to do. You don't necessarily have to jump behind it to fold the seats down. It's just gonna be a lever on your left or your right-hand side. You pull that and the seats do fold down. Now, back here, just as well as up front, you will have forward as well as rear parking sensors. So when you're parking or when you're using Smart Park, the vehicle is going to beep at you, letting you know you're getting too close to something. And then from there, it'll stop you once you're getting very too close. Now, speaking of the interior, what you're going to learn is that Genesis does not skimp on the interior. And that's going to start with the 3.5 Prestige model, which will have a suede insert as well as leather materials there. So when you're using all 375 horsepower, you won't be sliding around on that seat like you might do on the other competitors. This vehicle will come equipped with a tri-stage climate control. So all that really means is back here, you'll be one climate. The passenger and driver will be two separate climates. And then from there, you also have rear sunshades as well as rear heated seats. As far as along the side profile of this vehicle, its stance is mean. It will have available 21-inch aluminum alloy wheels. This is one of 3 whim choices that you can have with it, but on the Prestige models, you will notice Genesis signature 5-spoke wheel design. As far as inside, you will have a wide array of items to look over, and we'll jump in here right in a second. Inside, like I mentioned, when it comes to Genesis, their whole design theme, their whole design language is going to be the beauty of white space. So when this car is off, you don't see a whole lot of buttons, you don't see a whole lot of things that will detract you from the beauty that is the interior of this GV70. And that's going to be anywhere between the LED ambient lighting, 64 colors of it, by the way. Every one of them is gorgeous, not only along the outlines of things, but it's also going to be along these little silver panels you see around the door sills. Now, as far as the window controls, it's going to be the same, just like everything else. You will have power window, power rear side sunshades, so you can just fold those mirrors in. You'll also have a cool thing with this vehicle called Genesis Ergo Motion Seat. So essentially what that'll do, massage your spine, massage your thighs, make sure everything feels comfortable while you're on the ride, so you don't necessarily have to worry about being fatigued trying to stop at a rest stop, and then who knows what'll happen. Now, as far as the seat itself, 22-way power adjustable driver's seat. You'll be able to set it for you, you'll be able to set it for a second passenger. Now, when it comes to Genesis, you'll be able to set the steering wheel as well as the mirrors to your preference. Cool thing about Genesis Intelligent Services is that you will have a 3-year trial of that, so you'll be able to set up a second or third driver profile, allowing you to save any and everything I'm talking about here to your preference. And then if you have a spouse, if you have somebody else driving the car, they can switch profiles so none of your stuff gets blown out. You'll be able to see that when you do stop in. What you'll also be able to see is this gorgeous 14-inch display. It doesn't fold down, however, it isn't intrusive in any way, shape, or form. You'll be able to see over it and around it wherever you do need to see. You'll be controlling it with this dial that you'll see here where my hand is. Controls are going to be relatively easy to touch as far as you trying to reach onto that touchscreen display. As far as controlling everything, it's going to be really intuitive as soon as you get in this vehicle and as soon as you start playing around with it. And that's going to be anywhere between selecting maps, selecting navigation menus, playing around with Sirius XM radio, or utilizing Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which Genesis hid that away so that it doesn't look like a Hyundai. And that's going to be these 2 USB ports here, as well as the wireless charging pad you'll see listed down here. As far as climate controls, they're all going to be set up relatively easily, relatively set up nice so that you don't have to think about where the air is going. Everything's going to be in such a way to where you don't have to think about anything. Same way with the heated, ventilated seats as well as the climate control setups here. Now, as far as the actual steering wheel itself, something Genesis did which absolutely gorgeous. Typically on a steering wheel, you would see the outlines of everything here. When this vehicle is shut down, you don't see anything. When the vehicle's turned on, you'll see how everything else does work. Left-hand side, doesn't matter what kind of car you go with for the most part, everything over here is going to be for media. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, that's when you'll have all of the cruise control setups. So not only will you have, of course, regular cruise control, it'll be smart cruise control with stop and go. So of course, it'll slow you down if you're getting too close to somebody, speed you right back up. Now with highway drive assist, cool thing about that is as soon as you set up the speed to the highway, it'll allow you to adjust the speed so you never actually have to speed up, speed down, do anything else like that while you're on the road. As far as looking here, looking straight up on the road, you will see the heads-up display. Now, the heads-up display shows you a wealth of information. Of course, you'll see the speedometer there, but you'll also see if any speed limits are coming up. You'll also see if any sort of advanced safety features are going off. Anything like that, you'll see it front and center so that you don't actually have to take your eyes off the road. As far as the controls over here, as I mentioned before, you can control Smart Park from outside the car, but you can also control Smart Park from inside the car, as well as backing the vehicle into a spot or parallel parking. Especially if you're in a busier city like Richmond or something like that, and need to back into one of those tight spaces, the car will do it for you so that you don't actually have to do it yourself. As far as the sound system is concerned, 21 speakers of Lexicon sound system. So you'll have the 2 tweeters, you'll have the 2 subwoofers, and a bunch of speakers around the vehicle to give you a complete surround sound setup. Or if you like me and you like to be front and center, you do have 3 separate audio modes. The first audio mode, of course, will be just a reference mode, giving you a clear, concise view of it. The next one will be kind of what they like to call audience mode, so that all the sound comes directly at you, like you're in the crowd at your favorite concert. And the third mode is going to be on stage, like an artist actually brought you up on stage. You hear everything coming around you to where you don't feel like you're a part of the show. You feel like you're right there, right beside your favorite artist. As far as the dome lights are concerned, LED dome lights are going to be around it. They're not going to skimp out on that for you. But you will have a full panoramic sunroof that you can adjust as you do need to, as well as the intelligent services button here. Now that's going to be for roadside assistance, so that you can of course call whomever you do need to as soon as you're in an accident. You might need a battery jump, you might need a couple of gallons of gas because you were just loving the ride and you forgot about it. Genesis will take care of you from there. And as far as this 14-inch touchscreen display, I encourage you to play around with everything that this display can do, because there's a lot of fun, interesting features that Genesis kind of has hidden, like ambient noise, or as they like to call sounds of nature. One of my favorite useless features about any of these vehicles, but if you're having a stressful day, if you're having a bad day at work, anything like that, you'll be able to go from a lively forest to an open air cafe, warm fireplace, anything to make sure that while you're driving home, while you're in a stressful situation, you'll be able to have a calming situation while you're driving away. As far as everything else in this vehicle, you'll be able to adjust it to your liking. You'll be able to make this car as customized to your preference as possible, so that no one can really distinguish this Genesis from any other Genesis on the road. I mean, the fingerprint sensor is something really cool. It's the first vehicle in any lineup ever to actually put a fingerprint sensor there. You have to have both keys in the car. Once you have both keys in the car, you can simply set it up through settings, and then essentially you'll never need your phone, you'll never need the key fob, you'll never need anything but your fingerprint. Putting it right here, the car will register you being the driver, and then from there you can just simply start up the car as you normally would, never needing anything but your fingerprint to make the car go. Thank you for stopping in. It has been absolutely phenomenal to show you around this car. I want to show you more about this car, so come on, stop in. We're going to be right off the interstate, exit 18, and I'll be happy to show you everything you want to see about this car. Again, my name is Brandon. I'll see you soon.